Hi everybody, Alex here from Expert Forex, and in this video I'm going to show you how I create million-dollar trading robots. Now, a few years ago, back in 2017, I traded $5,000 to $1 million in a matter of a couple of hours, and the whole thing was recorded. This is a very long video. It's a 50-minute video and shows the process that I took to do this. And this was a very popular video, over 200,000 views on this particular video, and I'll explain a little bit more about this trading. Essentially what I did is I studied the price action of this particular broker, and it had a very particular price action in that these are the 1 minute candles, and they basically were 4 pips long. So each 1 minute candle was 4 pips long. Very unusual price action. So I wrote a robot that would sell the tops of the candles and buy as close as possible to the bottom of the candles. The broker had a fixed spread of 1 pip, so I was able to go for 2 pips with a nice 3 pips stop and trade very successfully, a 99% success rate using this method. And as you can see, sometimes even transactions happen twice on 1 candle. So it was really fun trading this particular method, and soon $5,000 grew into $1 million. Now you can go and buy this candle trader. That's exactly what it does. It trades the candlesticks from this link. It is fairly useless because you have to find a broker that has this kind of price feed, and they are no more. They have all died since then. So what then happened is a number of our clients got very excited about this, and they pooled $5,000 into a pool, and they said, okay, let's go and trade it live. So I went in and traded this live after speaking to the broker, telling him what we're going to do. We're going to be depositing that, we're going to be trading this EA, all that type of thing, and everything sounded hunky-dory. And what happened is we put our 5,000 in, we started trading, and he took the 5,000 out of our account within. So what happened is the broker stole the $5,000 out of our account in a matter of 3 minutes. Now, luckily, I had videoed this whole process. So I put the video on the internet. It went to #1 in the broker's area, and the broker was closed down as a result of that, showing that dishonest stealing of money. Unfortunately, we didn't get our money back, but we managed to close the broker. And I encourage you to go and watch the sad story that happened there, because it actually shows the broker taking over the platform and doing all kinds of really bad things. Anyway, the next year I published this video, also highly viewed, 50,000 views, on a plan to trade to $1 million. It was very popular, and a lot of people adopted this particular plan. And then a year later, in 2019, I published this video where I showed the techniques that one can use in trading robots to give your robot the potential of reaching $1 million. Unfortunately, as you can see, the viewership wasn't that great. But anyway, the techniques were discussed in this particular video. So here are the 3 methods that I discuss in this video. The first one is increase your position size. So in other words, you start with a small position, and as your transaction goes bigger, you add to your position size, but in a way that if the price comes back, you get out on a break-even basis. Now, that's the principle that the double in a day EA works on. You enter a deal, you add to the deal on a risk-free basis, you add to it again on a risk-free basis, and then at the end, you can double your account in 1 day. So that's increasing your position size on a risk-free basis. That's the one way. You can add to your position. Now, I'm going to show you that in quite a lot of detail. This is called the multiplier. So if you enter a trade on a signal that says buy, and your next candle is still a buy candle, you enter another deal. The next one, you buy into another deal, and so on and so on. It's called the multiplier. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. And then the next one is constantly risking the same percentage of your account. So in other words, if you start risking 2% of your account and you are successful, that 2% might represent $100 at first. But if you become successful, it might become $200, it might become $800, it might become $2,000 as your success increases. And the beauty of this is if you go through a losing stage, because you're risking a percentage of your account, you actually risk less and less and less in a losing phase. So it's also a very interesting way of trading and increasing your potential to reach that million. Here's a little bit more about the multiplier. The multiplier basically, and this is essentially how the make money EA trades. It trades with two moving averages that have to point in the same direction. So let's say over here the moving averages start pointing in the same direction. Now the conventional way of trading is you enter a buy there and you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, and suddenly there the moving averages stop pointing in the same, and you exit there. So you've had this one trade and you've made your profit. Now with a multiplier, what it says is, oh, there's your first entry, and then it looks at the next candle and says, oh yeah, no, that's still a buy, that's still a buy. So it enters a buy, enters a buy, enters a buy, enters a buy, enters a buy. So you have multiple transactions going in the direction of the trend, so that when it stops, you then can decide what you want to do with it. You want to close the lot, keep some of them open, that type of thing. So it multiplies the benefit of your of this particular trend. And the other thing is that, as you can see, when it goes into a sideways mode, it will essentially enter some sells and buys in the wrong direction. But because it's like that, they hedge each other. So it's also quite a safe little technique, this, because when it's like that, the transactions hedge each other. You've got a sell offsetting a buy all the time. And then when it starts taking off again, you have these multiple buys happening up over here. And the same thing down here. Then you have multiple sells happening while the moving averages are pointing in the same direction. And then if you catch one of these really long ones, you can really make a lot of money in these kind of trends by using this multiplier effect. So that is the multiplier. It is being built into most of our EAs, and if you use it in conjunction with a percentage of equity, can you imagine you double turbo boost? So you start here risking 1% of your equity. That might be $100. By year, that 1% might represent $200, and by year might represent $400. So your gains in a price action like this could be tremendously high over the space of a few days. And that's what happens with the Make Money EA. It's a really successful EA, and you can go and have a look at this video. Again, over 50,000 views, and it shows $1,000 being traded to $12 million in over a 6-week period. It actually shows the trading on a continuous basis, so it's quite worthwhile going to have a look at that. And that shows the multiplier playing a role, and the percentage of equity playing a role at the same time to double turbo boost the system. You don't have to use both at the time. You can choose one or the other one, or you can use them both at the same time. So this is what's being built into most of our EAs. We have a percentage of equity balance or free margin choice besides the manual lot sizing. Manual lot sizing is basically just fixed lots, no matter whether you be going successful or unsuccessful. Then we have the multiplier. The multiplier basically says at the start of a trend, do you only want to do one entry, or do you want to have multiple entries? As simple as that. And the EA will just keep on entering those particular deals. But when you're using a multiplier, you need a pruner. And the pruner will ask you whether you want to close the oldest trades when the maximum open trades are used, or the most profitable one, or you just don't want to allow any further trading when the maximum number of open deals have been reached, which you also set at that time. So the pruner and the multiplier sort of work together to control risk. Now, if you go down to our main website, which is expertforex.com, you'll see all our EAs and our tools and a lot of information about settings, bonuses, and so on. But in the list of set and forget EAs, you can actually see more information about each EA in codes that we've added at the end. And the red M that you see there, it stands for the multiplier. So you can see which EAs we currently have on the multiplier. Most of the others have the percentage of equity anyway. That is been standard over the last couple of years. So there we are. You can see here the multiplier, multiple open trades that it allows, and you can see which EAs belong to that grouping. There's also some really special bundles that you can have a look at. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that I've made it clear how I create these $1 million EAs. I use those turbo boosting techniques to squeeze the most out of your trading success. So from me, Alex Aploy, cheerio.